first thing, you got to identify what the defense is pre-snap. So obviously the formation here is 2-4-5 double A gap, mid blitz, and typically what people do out of that is it's just straight man across the board, and they're just blitzing six at you, blitzing six, blitzing seven even. So, but this is why it's important to read the defense post snap. Is pre snap we can assume it's going to be a six man mid blitz, but at a competitive level, people are always changing the defenses behind, what they're always changing the defenses on the back end. So that's something that can be invisible to somebody watching competitive man for the first time. Is usually it's mid blitz man across the board, but Danny's going to make a slight adjustment here. So that adjustment he's going to make is he's going to put his outside cornerback here on the right in a flat, and his deep half or his safety on the right side of the field into a deep half. And that's why it's so important to read the defense post snap. Again, what I'm looking at first is his outside cornerback here on the right, and he's the one in that flat zone. And then once you see that flat zone, you can assume that there's going to be a deep half above it. And the reason we got to be reading that defense post snap is it's going to tell us what the coverage is. Again, that's part of the puzzle. Okay, it's cover two. These are the strengths versus cover two. These are the weaknesses versus cover two. So the snap of the ball, again, I'm looking right at that outside cornerback, and I see this cornerback. He runs up at the start of the play, and he's going to run down last second. So that signifies that it's a flat zone, whereas a deep blue, it's going to keep running back, running back, running back. So when you see that flat zone, you can assume that it's going to be a deep half over the top of him, because it wouldn't make sense to have an inside quarter and inside third at safety. Again, if someone just put a streak on the outside, it would just run right by it for a touchdown. Now, what I got to say is, okay, so again, he's running deep cover two on that right half of the field. Again, we don't really know. Again, I can assume that he's running man on the left half of the field because that's what he's been doing a lot on previous plays. But specifically, just on the right half of the field, he's running cover two. And that's important because if it's cover two in general, that means that to beat cover two, we can attack the deep middle or we can attack the deep sidelines. Because in cover two, it has the least amount of deep blues out of any of the zone coverages. So we can attack it deep over the middle. Again, let's just assume, and it's not as a point now, let's just assume that it's going to be man on the left half of the field because that's what he's been calling on most of his plays. And the important part for this video is recognizing what he did on that last play, and that was putting his outside cornerback in the flat and his safety in the deep half. So again, now it's about asking yourself, okay, how do I attack cover two? We now read the coverage. How do we attack it? So to attack cover two, one of the best ways to attack it is that deep sideline, because there's going to be a hole on the deep sideline in between once he gets past the flat zone, because the deep halves don't get out towards the sidelines that well. The deep halves kind of stay more towards the numbers, and they'll give up that deep sidelines. Knowing that, I went with a unique fade because this fade does a great job of getting to that sideline, that deep sideline. It's going to get over the top of the flat zone and outside the deep half, and that's exactly how you attack cover two. Because again, remember, it doesn't have many deep blues. So when they don't have many deep blues, it's going to be weak vertically. So, and again, this is a play that I've never called before. Again, if you're asking yourself, man, how do I adjust in the game? It's really asking yourself, reading that defense post snap, then asking yourself, okay, what is the weaknesses of this coverage? So, and that's all I did here. Again, this is I don't use this play. It's just, okay, what routes get into those open spots of the field? And it's going to be that fade and the tight end flat. And then on the left half, again, let's just assume that it's going to be man coverage. And what I'm doing here is connecting concepts, really. So when you're trying to create a play in the game, it's, okay, if it's man on the left half of the field, what beats man now? So what beats man is going to be a skinny post because it's a sharp cutting route. Again, you need those sharp cutting routes versus man. And then we have a playmaker drag, which is really good in man 21. So we have what we need to beat man on the left half of the field. Then we have what we need to beat cover two on the right half of the field. Again, it's as that simple. You don't have to just sit and rotate plays. Again, you can anticipate what is open on the field and then get routes into that open space. And as you see, it's a flat zone again on the outside. And the deep half, again, it sits near the numbers and gives up this fade towards the sideline. And that's it. So if you guys want to learn more about adjusting to the adjustment, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're going to be talking about that a lot more on the channel. And go ahead, go and take your free skills evaluation on the MaddenAcademy.com. Go and see where your skills stack up versus the pros. Go and see what your strengths are. Go and see what your weaknesses are and how you can correct them.